Okay guys, we're going to be talking about the most underrated gem of all time, of all Nickelodeon, of all cartoons in general. It's the Spongebob music that you've never heard of. On Spotify and all across the different streaming services, it'll be given to you in some different way, but I grew up with the CDs. So SpongeBob came out with 3 actual albums, and even then it's not really an album. There's a couple albums that just sum up all the best songs of the show, which is great, like the Yellow Album, or the SpongeBob Greatest Hits album. Those you'll find all the songs from the show perfectly organized. Then there's the movie soundtracks, with most notably the first one being the best one, with a bunch of artists playing songs in the style of SpongeBob for the SpongeBob movie, capturing the energy and excitement, like Ocean Man. But the movie albums are a little bit different, so we're not going to talk about those today. We are going to talk about the final controversial, well, not controversial, but there was a hidden album, SpongeBob's The Best Day Ever album. Have you guys heard of this? You might have thought it was just a compilation of songs that have already been told, but it's much more than that. There's actually almost 20 tracks on this album, and none of them were in any of the episodes. It's almost like this album was created as its own standalone musical. There's a nice little ballad about SpongeBob singing about his tighty whities with some of the cast in the background. And it's a really sweet song that is surprisingly really good.
You fit like a glove, you make me proud of you.
Employee of the Month is another bop that you've never heard. SpongeBob singing about how it's his name up on the wall, Employee of the Month.
That's me, employee.
His biggest dream and desire, which is something for therapy, but as a song, we really like it. Squidward has his own villain song, essentially, called Superior, where he is boasting and bragging about his presence over people.
Superior! I'm so much better than you.
There's a song called Rock Bottom and Bikini Bottom, which takes us into the evil of Rock Bottom and the good of Bikini Bottom.
Jump right in, the water's fine.
The Bikini Bottom sections are like really dreamy, living in the ocean, life is good.
Then we go across the tracks.
And then it kind of gets like heavy and dark when we talk about Rock Bottom, kind of like this duality of life. It's a really good song. Patrick has his own little song called Under My Rock, which is him in a rock song in a really quirky way.
It's the only place I'll ever stay.
Singing about his home. This makes me think that the SpongeBob musical on its own is a lot less impressive than we think. If you ever wanted to see the SpongeBob characters enacting a really hard emotional truth of themselves in a really funny way, and only a way SpongeBob can do it, you definitely need to listen to the Best Day Ever album. The Best Day Ever album is almost like a musical on its own, and that's a complicated thing. So the SpongeBob musical itself is trying to be that. They're trying to capture the essence of SpongeBob, bring it to the stage with all these different artists like Aerosmith, famous artists, when really they've had a musical album here this whole time. Luckily, they made it in a way that actually reflects a story anyway. Like, there's interludes between every single song, little skits, I would say, talking about Bikini Bottom radio, with each character being featured on this radio show before they sing their own song. The songs are just so genuinely good on their own. Also fitting into the world of SpongeBob in a way that none of the other albums, or even some of the songs in the show, did super well. I feel like the SpongeBob musical album is the definition of why they would never do something like this. It just seems like they need to keep up with the times as opposed to the quality. They want to be a reference to pop culture, not past culture. And so this is a side we're never really gonna see. But I'm telling you, if they released the SpongeBob musical album with the original cast as their characters singing, wow, you've got me on lock. But until then, I'm not really gonna engage in the SpongeBob musical. I'm just so against the fact that we've been through multiple eras of SpongeBob, the first through third season era, which is the classic era. We've been through the 4th through 6th season era, which is still a little nostalgic, and then everything after that, which is modern SpongeBob, something that people don't always think highly of. And the SpongeBob musical definitely falls into that era. This SpongeBob album was created in the first era of SpongeBob, the classic era, the era where SpongeBob was just trying to be a good show on its own and didn't really have a lot of success behind it, so it had a lot to prove. It had a lot of nautical naughtiness to get out. SpongeBob music has taken me on a journey that I never thought I wanted to go on, and it does it in such an amazing way. Let's break down some of the best songs that are in the SpongeBob discography. Now, these are featured on the SpongeBob Greatest Hits albums, but I consider it music from the show. And if we had to conclude the 5 best songs from the SpongeBob series, I think it's gonna come down to this. Now remember, this is my opinion, so you guys could feel differently, but this is exactly what I think the biggest bops in SpongeBob are. Number 5, we have The Best Day Ever. So The Best Day Ever is a season 4 song, so it's not exactly classic SpongeBob, but it still had the spirit and energy of the classic SpongeBob.
Out of bed and I ran outside, feeling so
A bright and exciting song about being optimistic for the day and not being so literal that you have to talk about it. Like in SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water, he has this song called Thank Gosh It's Monday, which is a really good SpongeBob song.
It's Monday, it's Monday, it's Monday.
But it is a little too on the nose with SpongeBob's character being like, this is an optimistic guy that feels brightly about the world. That's great tell, not show. The Best Day Ever is definitely the perfect culmination of a SpongeBob theme song. It's like Kermit the Frog's Rainbow Connection. It doesn't deserve to be number 1 because it's not deep, amazing, incredible, but it is definitely one of the best SpongeBob songs I think exist. And that's not coming from the nostalgia or the episode it's referencing. I just think it's a genuinely great song in the spirit of SpongeBob. Number 4 I had to put in here for cult following reasons. It's the Sweet Victory song. Yeah, remember that big exciting thing that went on at the Super Bowl when they were like, play Sweet Victory from SpongeBob? Yeah, I was in the audience. Guys, no way that's happening. But it's crazy to think that SpongeBob has such a impact on our culture that the kids who loved it are old enough to be raving at public events to get them to play the song. I mean, from the iconic episode Band Geeks, I feel like it's more of a meme than anything. I don't think it's a great song. I think it's funny and it's a meme, but that's all it comes down to. Then, this one is very infamous. I definitely think it needs to be up higher than Sweet Victory because of how actually good it is, and then it's also a meme, so it almost does everything that the further songs did, but better. It's emotional between SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs longing for company again, which is kind of really endearing, especially given the innocent nature of SpongeBob and the mature honestness of Mr. Krabs. It's nice to see 2 characters come together in a really authentic way.
Not the stove, I know.
I would trade it all away.
So that's why number 3 goes to This Grill Is Not a Home Without You from SpongeBob. This song has been talked about for years and years to come, and the episode was good on its own as well. And this is the kind of song you would listen to by yourself when you're in a bad mood, and it doesn't need to remind you of SpongeBob to be great. Number 2 is just a genuinely really good song, and I hear a lot of people talk about it, especially in my friend group and people in my life. That's why this list is so personal to me. You know, like, it's not necessarily the top 5, it's my top 5. And if it's my top 5, I say that number 2 goes to Gary Come Home, from the infamous Where's Gary episode. Season 4 had some really good bangers. I don't know why they dove so far into music in that era, right after classic SpongeBob, when they had such good songs already. But I guess that's just a time where they were really excited to be back, so of course the music is going to reflect that.
Right now it sounds like music to me.
This song is a ballad as well, which is crazy how SpongeBob does sad songs so brilliantly. And it's not even one of the characters singing it. It's just a beautiful reflection of the theme of the episode, which is like, make sure to take care of the things you love. And I just love that. Number 1 is definitely a classic. And sure, it's there because it needs to be acknowledged every time SpongeBob's acknowledged musically, because it's the root of all SpongeBob music. The first season, way before SpongeBob became famous, before SpongeBob even became super funny, within the first 10 episodes, we got the song Ripped Pants.
And no girl ever wants to dance with a fool who went dead.
When SpongeBob was on the beach, trying to impress his friend Sandy, he realized making a fool out of himself was what allowed him to fit in, so he ripped his own pants. And when people started seeing through the charade, he wasn't doing it just because he's a human just like them, but he was trying to fit in. So he had to sing this song to kind of get his character back. And it's a little bit more upbeat than the standard sad song. It's like a nice, beachy, about humility. Ripped Pants is number one because not only is it subtle, not only is it catchy, and not only does it really well represent the first era of SpongeBob, but it was honest, it was innocent, and on its own, a great song. Imagine SpongeBob never existed and somebody just wrote this song and put it out. It would still be phenomenal. And now, I know you guys probably have different opinions. I know the fun song, the Campfire Fire song, like none of those made my list because I didn't consider them amazing songs in my own taste. And being my opinion, I didn't feel like telling it. It was not my opinion that those songs were great to listen to. Like, sure, they're there for the comedic effect, the context of the episode might be hilarious, it might be just all around a great song, but for me, these 5 songs represent what SpongeBob truly is at its peak, and what it really needs to be. Well, I hope you guys love jumping back into the ocean with me for these throwback songs. I definitely loved so many of these. What was your guys' favorite SpongeBob song? Don't forget to comment below, and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd love to talk to you guys about the 2000s more every day. Until then, thanks so much for watching Johnny 2000.